What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Harrison Graham here from Chat Sports with another episode of the Chiefs Report. Week 14 has wrapped up, so we're going to take a look at the updated AFC playoff picture, find out where the Chiefs sit, and kind of break down how the AFC is shaken up with 4 weeks to go, including a potential path to that number 1 seed for Kansas City. So let's kind of break it down here. Here's how things sit right now. No changes at the top. Buffalo 10-3, Kansas City 10-3, but of course the head-to-head favors the Bills, so they have the number 1 seed. Baltimore wins again. They're 9-4 with the 3 seed. Tennessee, they've lost 3 in a row and 4 out of 5, sitting there at 7-6, still on top of the AFC South, but things getting a little dicey for the Titans. Cincinnati at 9-4. They'll play Baltimore again for a chance to take over the AFC North. Miami has dropped 2 straight. They're the 6th seed at 8-5. New England at 7-6. This is 7 seed, but you got the Chargers and Jets looming there at 7-6. And I'll also verbally mention the Jags at 5-8. They play Tennessee again after beating them this past week. If Tennessee just loses one more game, Jacksonville could actually control their destiny in the AFC South. All right, let's look at the Chiefs' remaining schedule here en route to a potential number 1 seed. I mean, games they should win, right? Now, they almost lost to the Broncos on Sunday after getting up 27-0, but you go to Houston this week. That should be an easy win. Houston's tanking. Seattle at home in Week 16 versus the Broncos at home in Week 17. It was a weird game this week, but you've won 14 straight against Denver. And then at the Raiders to wrap things up in Week 18. The Chiefs should win out. Will they? We'll see. I think they will. I think they definitely should. But they seem to lose focus at times. So hopefully they can find that focus over the final month and try to get that top seed. Because if they went out and Buffalo just simply loses one game, the Chiefs would get that number 1 seed in the AFC. Now, will the Chiefs win their final 4 games? They'll be favored in all of them. Type Y for yes, type N for no. I'm going to be optimistic and say yes. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Will the Chiefs win their final 4 games? Now, you look at the playoff scenarios for Kansas City. AFC West champs greater than a 99% chance. Their magic number is 1. If they win one more game or the Chargers lose one more game, they win the division. That's obviously going to happen. Number 1 seed chances. This is per the New York Times playoff model here. 34% chance. They still feel Buffalo has the inside track there. And then number 2 seed chances is 41%. Not sure exactly kind of how the math works because obviously they're not going to fall further than like the 3 seed. 3 seed's like 20%, I think. So they win the AFC West, like I mentioned, with a win or 1 Chargers loss. So do want to mention that. But Chiefs are thinking bigger, right? The AFC West is done. They're going to win the division. We know that. Can they get that top seed? Like I said, you win out and Buffalo loses or ties one game, Chiefs would get the number 1 seed in the AFC, which means a first-round bye and home field advantage throughout the playoffs. All right, if you want daily Chiefs news, rumors, playoff picture updates, game previews, live streams, post-game shows, this is the channel for you. Subscribe today if you want more Chiefs coverage here on the channel. Trying to get to 35,000 subs ASAP. We're just about 300 away, so help us out. Let's keep this channel growing. All right, let's take a look at those number 1 seed Buffalo Bills and their remaining schedule. They play the Dolphins this week, a big game in Buffalo. I think that favors Buffalo. The Dolphins have lost 2 straight, and they do not play well on the road. Week 16 at Chicago, that's a game Buffalo likely wins, but you look at Week 17, right? That feels like the game most likely that they would lose at Cincinnati, which would be huge for Kansas City. And then Week 18 against the New England Patriots, also a losable game, but it is at home. I still think the Bills are going to slip one time. I just have this feeling. I mean, these are tough games coming up now. Are they going to be favored? Yes, but if you compare their schedule to the Chiefs, advantage Chiefs. Like, if the Chiefs don't mess around, they will win their final 4 games. We'll see if they do that. But Buffalo has 3 out of 4 games against playoff contenders, New England, Miami, and Cincinnati, all fighting for playoff viability. Chicago's not, but it is a road game. You never know. I think the Bills slip up once, so if you're the Chiefs, keep focusing on yourself and winning games. Let's take a look at the Ravens now as they are the 3 seed on top of the AFC North at Cleveland this week. Interesting game. We'll see how Deshaun Watson plays in his 3rd start for the Browns. Week 16 at home against the Falcons, not tough. 17 at home against the Steelers, a game they should win. And then Week 18 at Cincinnati. That game almost certainly will determine who wins the AFC North. Baltimore, that's a very manageable schedule. If they can win out, they could have an outside chance at the top seed in the AFC. Cincinnati now, I think that they're the better team of the two between them and Baltimore, but certainly a tougher schedule, right? I mean, all four of these games could be losable. Now, Tampa's really struggling, but it's on the road. They still have Tom Brady. I wouldn't just completely check that as an easy win. Week 16 at New England, that's a tough matchup. Week 17 at home against the Bills, obviously a big one in the AFC. And then potentially AFC North on the line against Baltimore in Week 18. So while I think Cincinnati's better, you look at the two schedules, Baltimore may have more of the inside track to actually win that division. Now, who gets the number one seed in the AFC in your guys' opinion? What do you guys think? Type BUF for Buffalo, type KC for Kansas City, BAL for Baltimore, or CIN for Cincinnati. I don't think any other team is in the mix. With Miami losing their fifth game, I think they're out of it now. All these teams either have 3 or 4 losses. Who do you think gets that top seed? Go ahead and let me know what you guys think. Now, today's show is sponsored by Fetch, and it's a perfect time for you guys to download the Fetch app at chatsports.com/Fetch, free on your iPhone or your Android, because Fetch allows you to earn points by scanning receipts and turning those receipts into gift cards. So be sure you go ahead and start doing that. Fetch is a great app that's very user-friendly. You open the app, you click that orange icon, and boom, you start scanning those receipts and earning those points. Doesn't matter if it's a receipt from Walmart or from when you pump up gas or your local mom and pop. Scan them, you'll get the confetti popping on your screen, and then you hit that, or you hit submit, then the confetti pops, and that way you know you get your points right there. You start racking up points, and we're going to give you 5,000 bonus points when you use code chat at chatsports.com/Fetch. And when you get enough points, you can redeem those points for gift cards to Amazon, Target, AMC, tons of restaurants. Want your morning coffee paid for? Boom, you can get a Starbucks gift card as well. 10,000 points equals a $10 gift card, and we're giving you 5,000 to start with promo code CHAT. So go to chatsports.com/Fetch to download the app and sign up today. All right, take another look at this AFC playoff picture. So we've broken down kind of the 4 teams in contention for the top seed remaining schedule: Buffalo, Kansas City, Baltimore, and Cincinnati. Obviously, you got Tennessee leading a division, Miami, and New England, as well as the Chargers and Jets, all with at least 7 wins. So let's look at the Dolphins now, who have kind of had this topsy-turvy season. Started 3-0, lost 3 straight, won 5 straight, have lost 2 straight, and it ramps up here, right? At Buffalo, I think the Bills are going to win that game, so they would fall to 8-6. Then you got a high-pressure game at home against Green Bay, who struggled this year, but they still have Aaron Rodgers. Week 17 at the Patriots, that could end up being a massive game at that point. And then Week 18 against the Jets could also be a big playoff implication game. So the Dolphins don't have any gimmies left on the schedule. Obviously, this week, Dolphins-Bills is huge. We know that. If Miami were to pull off the upset in Buffalo this week, they're only a game back in the AFC East, and they would have swept the Bills, so that could kind of get them back into the division. I don't think the Dolphins are getting into the number 1 seed race with 5 losses, but big matchup for them this week, no doubt about it. Now, Tennessee, can they right the ship here? Well, you got some tricky ones. You got at the Chargers this week. That's a big one. Let's say they lose that, though. 7-7, coming home against the Texans, a game you obviously have to win, but You're playing a Texans team that would have some wiggle room in that race for the number 1 pick. I don't think they would completely lay down. Then you got Dallas at home, and then at Jacksonville. And again, I said this earlier. If the Titans lose 1 game out of their next 3 before that Jags game and the Jags keep winning, then Jacksonville controls their destiny to win the AFC South because they won the first matchup. So let's say they're 7-9 and Tennessee is 8-8 heading into that Week 18 matchup. If Jacksonville wins to improve to 8-9, Tennessee falls to 8-9, Jacksonville would have the tiebreaker. So Tennessee could blow the division. I mean, a few weeks ago we were talking about this team's in the mix for the number 1 seed. They almost beat the Chiefs with Malik Willis, and now they fired their GM. Their offensive coordinator had a DUI. I mean, things have been a mess, and it's not looking good for Tennessee. So a really big game coming up this week against the LA Chargers. All right, Patriots now. We'll take a look at their remaining schedule, the current 7 seed. At the Raiders this week, big game. If they beat the Raiders pretty much officially eliminated at that point. They've got to win out and get some help. Cincinnati at home, another big one as well. But you get it at home. Dolphins at home, that's tough, and at the Bills. So let's be honest. If you're New England, you cannot lose to Vegas this week. You lose this week, it's not going to happen. You're not going 3-0 against the Bengals, the Dolphins, and the Bills. So you got to win this week and then let the chips fall where they may. Chargers remaining schedule, who are now in the mix as well at 7-6. Titans this week, big game, opportunity to win that one at home at the Colts in Week 16. That's a game they should win, but it's just the Chargers we're talking about. Gets the Rams in Week 17. Obviously, they share the same stadium. But then Week 18 at the Broncos. Broncos, I think, are going to be lifeless by then. So Chargers have a manageable schedule. If they could beat the Titans here, they could run the table. And if they go 4-0 the rest of the way, they're getting in. There's no doubt about that. 11-6, you're getting into the playoffs. Jets remaining schedule at 7-6, but they're the 9 seed right now. They don't have any of the tiebreakers, so they really, if you're the Jets, you got to be thinking we got to go 4-0. Control our own destiny. Well, that starts this week, a virtual playoff game, because Detroit at 6-7 has made some moves. They got to win. So the loser of Jets-Lions this week could be out. Then they play the Jags next week, which isn't going to be easy. At Seattle Week 17, not easy either. Then at the Dolphins in Week 18. So it's going to be a challenge, but it's interesting. The AFC playoff picture is fun, and we knew that coming into the year, right? All these free agents went to the AFC. It was going to be a competitive conference, and that's been the case. 9 teams competing for 7 spots. You could say 9.5, really 10 if you want to count the Jags, because they're still in the hunt for the AFC South, but they're not really in the mix for a wild card, so it's only for that division if they can catch Tennessee. So things are tightening up, things are getting interesting, and it's going to be a fun final month to see what shakes out, and obviously for the Chiefs as they try to get that number 1 seed. Now, who's excited for the playoffs? Type me if you are. Obviously, we all are, but a lot of big games leading up to them. But if you can't wait for the postseason, go ahead and spam me down below. Now, real quick before we sign off, our Week 15 rooting guide as the Ravens play the Browns, the Dolphins play the Bills, and the Bengals play the Buccaneers. So what you want in these games is, in that first one, you want the Browns to win because that knocks the Ravens kind of out of the hunt for that number 1 seed. In that second game, if the Dolphins can beat the Bills, Chiefs would then again control their own destiny for the top seed in the AFC, and then Bengals at Bucks. Obviously rooting for the Bucks there to knock Cincinnati down a peg as well. So there you have it. Playoff picture heading into Week 15 here. We're going to do this every single week between now and the end of the regular season. So subscribe to the channel. We will continue to hit you guys with more Chiefs news, rumors, and updates, playoff picture stuff, and everything else in between. So hit that sub button. We'll see you soon here at the Chiefs Report.